There's a nickel from 1961 that seasoned collectors guard like a family secret. And here's the twist. You might have one sitting in a jar somewhere, completely overlooked. While most people wouldn't bend down to pick up a nickel off the sidewalk, certain specimens from this year have sold for enough money to make even the most skeptical person start checking their change. So what makes a coin worth 5 cents suddenly worth hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars? The minting details that matter. Here's where it gets interesting. The 1961 nickel came in two varieties: the Philadelphia issue with no mint mark, and the Denver issue bearing a small D mint mark on the reverse, just to the right of Monticello. The Philadelphia mint produced approximately 73.6 million pieces. Denver contributed about 96.8 million. On paper, these numbers suggest common coins. But the coin collecting world doesn't operate on paper. It operates on condition, errors, and exceptional quality. The composition itself was standard for the era: 75% copper and 25% nickel. The weight? A precise 5 grams. Diameter? 21.2 millimeters. These specifications have been standardized for decades. Nothing unusual there. But what happened after these coins left the mint? That's where the real story begins. Understanding grade and condition. Most 1961 nickels you'll encounter today have lived hard lives. They've been dropped, scratched, circulated through countless transactions, and spent decades rattling around in pockets, purses, and coin jars. The technical term for a heavily circulated coin is good to fine grade, and in that condition, a 1961 nickel is worth exactly 5 cents. Maybe 6 or 7 cents if you find someone feeling generous. But everything changes when we talk about uncirculated specimens. These are coins that never entered circulation, never passed through human hands in daily commerce, never developed that dull, worn appearance that characterizes pocket change. In the numismatic world, we use the Sheldon scale, which runs from 1 to 70, to grade coins. And when a 1961 nickel ranks at the top of that scale, what we call MS-67 or MS-68, mint state 67 or 68, you're looking at an entirely different animal. The value revelation. So what are these pristine 1961 nickels actually worth? Let's break it down by condition, because this is where most people's eyes widen. A circulated 1961 nickel in average condition? Face value: 5 cents. Don't spend it on anything important. An uncirculated specimen in MS-60 to MS-63 grade? You're looking at anywhere from $2 to $5. Not retirement money, but certainly more than face value. MS-64 to MS-65? Now we're talking $15 to $30 for a Philadelphia mint nickel, slightly more for a Denver mint specimen. But here's where it gets genuinely exciting. MS-66 examples, coins that exhibit exceptional luster, sharp strike details, and minimal contact marks, can fetch anywhere from $50 to $150. These are coins that were likely part of mint sets or saved by collectors who knew exactly what they were doing back in 1961. And at the absolute pinnacle, MS-67 and above, prices can soar into the $300 to $800 range, sometimes more depending on the auction house and who's bidding that day. In 2019, a 1961 Denver nickel graded MS-67 Plus with full steps on Monticello sold for over $900. Let that sink in. A nickel, $900. Error varieties and anomalies. Now, every coin has the potential for error varieties, and 1961 nickels are no exception. While no major, famous error exists for this particular year, nothing like the 1942 to 1945 silver nickels or the famous 1937 D three-legged buffalo nickel. There are still interesting anomalies that surface. Repunched mint marks have been documented on some 1961 D nickels, where the D was stamped twice in slightly different positions, creating a doubled appearance. Die cracks, particularly on later strikes from worn dies, can add character and modest value to certain pieces. Off-center strikes, though rare for this date, exist and can command premiums depending on the degree of misalignment and whether the date remains visible. Collectors have also documented minor double die varieties on both the obverse and reverse. though nothing dramatic enough to create the kind of market frenzy you see with more famous double dies. Still, for specialists building comprehensive 1961 nickel collections, these varieties represent interesting puzzle pieces worth pursuing. What to look for in your collection? So you're ready to start checking nickels. Smart move. Here's what you need to know. First, examine the coin's surface under good lighting, preferably with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. You're looking for that original mint luster, a sort of satiny glow that indicates the coin hasn't been circulated. If the coin looks dull, gray, or heavily marked, it's been through the circulation ringer and won't command significant premiums. Next, check that mint mark. No mint mark means Philadelphia. A D means Denver. The location is on the reverse, to the right of Monticello, near the rim at about the 4 o'clock position if you're thinking of the coin as a clock face. Now, for the critical detail, those Monticello steps. Get close. Really look at them. Can you see 5 or 6 distinct, separate horizontal lines? Or do they blur together? Full steps are your golden ticket to higher values, but they're also exceptionally difficult to find. Most collectors search through thousands of specimens before finding one genuine full steps example. Finally, assess overall eye appeal. Does the coin have original color, or has it been cleaned? Cleaning is the kiss of death for coin values. Even if a coin grades MS-65 technically, if it's been improperly cleaned, its value plummets. Natural, original surfaces are paramount in the collecting world. Registries set collecting through grading services like PCGS and NGC has also fueled demand. Collectors competing to assemble the finest known sets are willing to pay substantial premiums for coins that grade just 1 point higher than the competition. When a coin can make the difference between ranking 5th and ranking 1st in a national registry, price becomes almost secondary. The 1961 nickel represents something fascinating about coin collecting. The intersection of the common and the exceptional. Millions of these coins exist. They're not rare in the traditional sense. But finding one in exceptional condition, with those sought-after full steps on Monticello, with original luster and surfaces untouched by time and circulation. That's where common becomes collectible and 5 cents becomes $500. Every coin tells a story. Every coin represents a moment in American history. And every coin you examine might just be the one that changes your perspective on what's valuable and what's worth saving. The next time you encounter a 1961 nickel, take a closer look. You might be holding something far more valuable than you ever imagined. Because in the world of numismatics, it's not about the face value printed on the coin. It's about the story, the condition, the rarity, and the passion of collectors who understand that sometimes a nickel isn't just a nickel. Sometimes it's a window into history, a testament to preservation, and a reminder that value isn't always what it appears to be at first glance.